Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who is about to be very angry. It's Tom Tresimer.
I'm already starting to get angry. I can just feel it. I can feel it coming.
Whenever there's a list out, you don't even read it, and you're angry that it's not what you wanted.
I don't even look at the title of your list, and it's just the movies. If the movies that I personally don't like aren't in that list, I'm probably not going to like it.
Yeah, I did a list once about the best 1970s action films, and you got incredibly angry, and you were like, why is The Dark Knight not in here? And I was like, well, Dark Knight was made in 2000, was released in 2008. And you're like, yeah, well, it's a throwback.
It doesn't matter.
And then you're like, Winter Soldier should be in here too, because it's like a 1970s political thriller.
It should have been.
Yeah.
There's elements of the 70s in there.
Exactly.
It should have been in there.
So yeah, you get hyped.
I do. I get triggered pretty quick.
You're actually a very mellow guy. As you know, you listen to the podcast Hackers, you'll listen to Real Genius, other episodes. You're chill. But when it comes to the lists, you get pretty hyped, don't you?
I get triggered quick over lists. Especially if I don't read the title and I feel like an idiot afterwards. I get even more angry.
That was a good one on your part. That made me so happy. That made my day. But yeah, if you go on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, you'll see Tom all over the comments here.
Trying to sway people's opinions.
So I brought Tom in for this. We're getting away from Hackers. So you and I did Live Free or Die Hard. Then we did Hackers. Then we did Real Genius. We had the Hacker trilogy.
We did.
We're not doing that. So now we're kind of talking about the tiers of 1990s action movies. And this all came from a tournament that I put on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook. So basically I pitted Hard Boiled, Time Cop, True Lies, Desperado, Face Off, Rumble in the Bronx, Point Break, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Die Hard 3, Under Siege, GoldenEye, Con Air, The Rock, Demolition Man, Speed, and Bad Boys against each other. I purposely left out movies like The Matrix. This is basically early 90s, like not past 96. I left out The Matrix. I left out T2 because I had done tournaments in the past where it's just a runaway.
Yeah, like those will just crush everything.
And it's fun, but then you get to that and it's just a blowout. And so I wanted to do movies that were closer to each other. And you got pretty hyped on this one when we were going through it because the final, which legit blew my mind, and it got a ton of votes though. Did you see the amount of votes that this tournament got? A ton.
It got a lot of votes, especially per round.
The final matchup, some were 50, like some were 48, 52. Like these are really close, almost all of them. I don't know why. But the finals was True Lies versus Demolition Man. Now, Demolition Man had to beat The Rock, right? Then it had to beat Speed. Then it had to beat Die Hard 3. It beat 3 top-tier action films of the 90s. And it went up against True Lies. True Lies beat Desperado, which kind of broke my heart. Then it beat Time Cop, which was a blowout.
No surprise.
That was the biggest blowout.
That was a big one.
And then it faced off against... Let me think. I think it went off, faced off against Point Break, which, man,
in the semis. That's a tough one.
That's tough. And that's a good semi matchup.
That is a good semi matchup. That could even be a finals matchup, depending on how the bracket was built.
The thing that really bummed me out is Hard Boiled lost to Time Cop. Hard Boiled, you can't talk about 1990s action films, the best, without bringing up Hard Boiled. And Time Cop beat it. But I think it's just the love of JCVD.
And especially early mid-90s JCVD. I mean, he was arguably one of the biggest stars at that point in his career.
And I would say...
world, and that was a tough matchup.
Outside of action junkies, not many people know of Hard Boiled.
No.
You know, I mean, Time Cop was a $100 million success. I bought a ticket for it when I was 12. The guy was just smiled at me and sold me a ticket. It was like one of the greatest days of my life. But this movie, like... You know, I think why we got so many votes, right? Die Hard 3, I went and saw in 6th grade with a buddy. I mean, a lot of these movies, like I remember Quentin Tarantino talking about Rumble in the Bronx, and that's how I got massively into Jackie Chan. So Bad Boys, dude, I quoted Bad Boys for life. Some Bobalicious. So this movie, but Demolition Man though, beat The Rock in Speed. And you were pissed.
Demolition Man is like, what was the old... It's like somebody busting your bracket in the NCAAs. That's what Demolition Man is. That's like the number 32 seed making a run. Like, it should not have happened, but it did. And I think it's we briefly discussed it, but it's just the nostalgia and the love behind it.
Yeah.
And I went back and watched it after this tournament, and, it drove me crazy.
One line, though, I texted you this. One line was ahead of its time when Sandra Bullock... So these guys are kind of broing out to each other, and Benjamin Bratt asks her, like, why do they talk to each other like that? And Sandra Bullock's like, it's what insecure men used to do back in the day. And that's such a funny line. That's a good line. And I think Wesley Snipes, right? He chews the scenery. He loves every second being in this movie. And Stallone is loose in it as well.
Stallone is very loose in it. I think what gets me with Snipes is that I feel like they just didn't rein him in at all. So they almost just let him do whatever he wanted. And there was parts of times, and again, this is what it was made in '93. Yeah. So it's 26 years later.
Height of their power.
Watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely not my favorite action movie.
It shouldn't have gotten past.
It shouldn't have gotten past The Rock.
I would have liked to have seen. I get why Speed would beat Bad Boys, but imagine The Rock versus Speed. Speed would win.
I think Speed probably would have won, but I don't. Of the 8 times that we voted there in the opening round, I don't know if I would have been able to vote for that one. I may just just skip that round.
I had people messaging me, and they're like, "I can't vote." I'm like, "What? I can't do it." John Levengood, who has been on a lot of Movies, Films, and Flicks episodes, he several times he said, "Why are you doing this to me?" Someone else going, "This is terrible." Like they couldn't vote.
Sometimes in life you're faced with difficult decisions, and you put a lot of them out there in this tournament.
Yeah, and that's why I did it. So I sat around with my wife Megan, and we just talked about. I didn't want any blowouts. Even the final wasn't really a blowout. Like Demolition Man lost 48 to 52%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting that's why I devised it. But then you and I got talking further about 90s action movies, and a lot of people say that the 90s were the greatest decade for action films.
I agree with that.
And if someone made that argument, you can't really argue with them because I think it's stronger than the 2000s. I think this decade we've had. So my favorite action films have come out this decade. The history of action films, The Raid 1 and 2 are my favorite. They're my tops. And I mean, we also had Mad Max Fury Road this year, the John Wick movies.
Yep.
I just think the variety in the 90s was insane. I mean, we had Hong Kong cinema. We had just cinema all over the world exploding.
I think part of that, too, on a technical level, is the turning of the quality of special effects and VFX that were going into the movies.
Yeah.
It's like the late 80s, early 90s, especially with James Cameron, was like right when like the CGI actually started taking hold.
And then Total Recall hit.
And they were able to do things that they wanted to actually do that they couldn't make previously. Like they just didn't have the technical capabilities to do it. And so, the special effects, the VFX, even like the sound editing just got better and better and better as that decade went on.
And you can really see in my list here. And so we were talking earlier, like, what is an action movie? So we have the definition here. It's what? A genre in which the protagonist or protagonists are thrust into a series of events that typically include violence, extending fighting, physical feats, and frantic chases. In this list, though, beware. In my tiers, I've left out Saving Private Ryan, which was tough. I don't know why I left it out, because I think it has some of the most thrilling action scenes. Mm-hmm. But I going through all the best of lists, I noticed that it was never brought up. I also left out Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's more of a horror adventure film, in my opinion.
Now, if somebody wanted to yell at me and say those are action films, I'd be like, sure.
I think they have the elements of action in them, but it's not based around that.
Yeah.
Those are based around the thrill and the scares.
And if you want to call me out for it, that's fine. But, like, you watch these movies like Jurassic Park, it's just these animals attacking. It's like a creature feature.
Yeah.
But creature features feature action, but it's not exclusively in the action genre. So
Jurassic Park is as much of an action movie as Titanic is.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess I also wanted to pick movies that just are in... I have a couple exceptions, but are just action. So Terminator 2 is a science fiction movie, but it's an action movie. Mm-hmm. Right?
I would agree.
Aliens, that's an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But so when you look at Terminator 2, you can't just go, oh, that's a science fiction movie with action. It's an action movie.
It's an action movie before science fiction.
Yeah.
Action sci-fi.
So, listen, I could never get this right.
There's no right or wrong here, except we are going to be right.
Yeah,
in our definitions.
So I want you to know where we're starting. And I also really picked action movies that kind of had the action on the ground. I left out Independence Day. I wanted movies that some people fly jets in this movie, but it's not all on the ground. But it's mostly gunfights, fist fights, car chases. It's not like blowing up cities. Does that make sense? Like on the ground.
It does. I might have an issue with that, but we'll continue.
All right, so I'm going to start with tier 1. All right, so what I did was I developed 5 tiers, and each tier has 5 movies. Now, if you look through a list of 1990s action movies, you will say, I love that one, I love that one, I love that one, I love that. Like, it'll be 24 hours. You'll be sitting there going. So, before we wanted to get into it, though, I wanted to put some of my favorites. So, 13th Warrior, which you can listen to our episode about that. I love that movie. I didn't put it in one of the tiers. It was directed by Tiernan, John McTiernan.
Yep.
Hey. Universal Soldier, Ricky O. Ricky O is out of its mind. The Rocketeer, I adore. The Last Boy Scout. I love the script. I love the Shane Black dialogue. And then Escape from LA, which doesn't get enough love because in that movie, Kurt Russell rides motorcycles, plays basketball, hang glides, gets in a submarine.
The movie's so ridiculous.
It's
so over the top.
Kurt
I
Russell
enjoy it.
And Bruce Campbell are on the screen together. Nothing gets better. Those are my ones I wanted to say that I love before, and they're not in my tiers. So we're going to start with tier 1. You ready for this?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, so you can't have this list without Terminator 2 Judgment Day. James Cameron, just the chases, in LA, the final battle scenes, just the T-1000, what a great villain. It's urgent. Yep. Once this movie gets going, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. It's just it's a runaway train at that point.
And that's what I think makes for some of the greatest action films. Like The Raid is one of my favorite action movies because once the action kicks off, there's no stopping. Zero. Mad Max Fury Road, no stopping. So that's why so I think if 10,000 people got in a room, 9,932 would put T2 into tier 1.
And those other 68 people are probably dumb.
Yeah. Or they're going...
There's something mentally wrong at that point.
Maybe they hadn't seen it in 15 years, or they're going with their hearts. Does that make sense? Like they're saying, I haven't seen it, or maybe I'm going... Obviously, there's no right or wrong, but this movie will be included in tier 1.
T2's got it all. I mean, it's got the VFX, the special effects. It's got the star power of Schwarzenegger.
Yep, massive budget.
Huge. It's got the big budget.
Sarah Connor.
I mean,
James Cameron excels at making action films that are marketable, very marketable, because I love the strong women in there. I love how he does that, and I think that's why it stands up. Now, the next one is The Matrix, directed by the Wachowskis. So, this really messed me up, because there's 2 movies I wanted in tier 1, but I had to pick one. I'll get into it later. But so The Matrix. I mean, this movie, I would definitely say it's wholly original, but it also hijacked a lot of Hong Kong.
Yeah, it did.
So a movie that'll be in this list later, Fist of Legend, which I think has the greatest fight scenes you'll ever see in the 90s. The choreographer, Yuen Wu Ping, they hired him for The Matrix. And when you watch the Matrix fight scenes with the wire work, take that out. But the fight scenes, it's exactly like Fist of Legend. So I think they hired everyone they loved and brought them in and did brilliant work.
I think part of what makes the Matrix so popular still today, and the fact that they're now making a 4th movie, it's being greenlit 16 years after the last one, is that it still resonates today. As in, like the technology behind the movie. Like, it's still some of that stuff's still being used today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Bullet
further
time.
with the green screen, they've got new things to it, but like that type of camera work and movement has been so influential, in the last 20 years of action filmmaking. But then actually, like, on a story level, too.
Red pill, take the red pill.
Red pill, blue
What's your
pill
reality?
stuff.
We're online now.
Yeah, the virtual reality stuff, like, we're not quite to where they are in the Matrix, but it's like that's where people want to be. They want to live in this virtual world, and that's what this movie takes place in.
And
someone
would rather be in the virtual world than in the reality. So I mean, you're right. This really resonates as. I mean, it's great. Like, they shot this in Australia. I just read a book called Best Year Ever. It's about 1999, written by Brian Raftery. Joel Silver championed this movie. Like, this movie wouldn't have been. It went over budget. It went over time. But Joel Silver was just like, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. And credit to the Wachowskis and Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss and Lawrence Fishburne. They trained for months. But this movie is much like it's like the Jurassic Park of the 90s, where people say, that looks better than action movies nowadays, right? Like Jurassic Park CGI. I mean, a lot of the aspect ratio, like a great video just came out about why it looks better, and they talk about the aspect ratio and all of that. So right now we have The Matrix and Terminator 2. 3, I think you have to have this movie on the list, and that's Hard Boiled. 1992, John Woo. He had directed The Killer and Bullet in the Head prior to this. But I just love Chow Yun-Fat's Tequila. I love Tony Leung. I loved Alan. I love Mad Dog. Mad Dog's one of the most insane villains you'll ever have. And just the gunfights in this movie, the motorcycle fights, the fight at the hospital at the end, the stylistic gun work. You watch Desperado, you watch pretty much any gun movie now, and that gun work, that gung fu that they did is
influenced off of.
And I'm not just picking this because of influential. I mean, this is a balls to the walls action movie. It's bonkers. So I was watching it again for this episode, and I just couldn't stop. But he triumphed out with the baby, blowing people. It's thrilling. It's influential, and you go down this list, and you will see a lot of these movies wanted to be hard boiled, and just the cool that they had to it. So I think at 92, they hadn't established the cool killers yet, had they? Like, the 80s had more Schwarzenegger blowing people up.
Yeah,
Stallone.
It was more over the top.
Yeah.
Rambo stuff.
These are dudes looking awesome.
Yeah.
Murdering people. Like Blade, even.
Like suave.
Yeah, it's just, so hard boiled's there. 4 for me is Drunken Master 2.
Okay.
Now, that came out, was released here in 1994, directed by Chia Luang Lu. And also co-directed by Jackie Chan. This movie, the final battle scene with the flaming hot metal sticks that are lighting the wood on fire. I don't know if you've seen it recently.
No, this movie I actually have not seen.
So type in Drunken Master 2 final fight. And they have a fight where they're throwing metal rods at Jackie Chan, right? Hitting him in the shin. He's going, oh! But every time the metal hits a piece of wood, the wood lights up. It's this inventive, non-stop. He fights an axe gang. It's the choreography in this movie and the humor, and it's like a ballet of violence. So for me, this movie is my favorite Jackie Chan film, and I just think you watch The Raid now. Action movies had come out prior. He had done action movies that were like this before, but the scale of the fight scenes in this movie, you'll blow your mind. You'll blow your mind. And so my fifth one in tier 1, this was my toughest one. So I originally had a movie, but I ran a poll yesterday on Movies, Films, and Flicks, and the winner ran away with it. Ran away. And I was really surprised by that. But it was True Lies. So True Lies won our tournament, and then True Lies won yesterday when I pitted up against another movie.
Oh, I know okay.
So
I know what that is.
I think, and I'm kind of happy it won too, because it's 2 James Cameron movies, obviously. But the movie that was up against in tier 2 could kind of be called something Die Hard on a something, right? Stylish villain. This True Lies. So I was talking about it with my wife, and I was like, which one do you like? And she goes, True Lies. And I'm like, what? She's like, I love the thing with Jamie Lee Curtis. I love their relationship. I love the journey they go on. And then she started talking, she started laughing about the airplane, you're fired, that kind of stuff. But this movie, I'm not letting you talk, my bad. This movie, it's fun, it's big, it's smart, it's sexy, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say it's definitely all of those. I mean, it's got, the action is big, but it's not over the top, ridiculous big. It's believable, and I think that's what gets me is my action movies, I either want them big and silly, where they're not taking themselves seriously, or if they are, I want it done smart.
Yeah.
And smooth, and that's exactly what this is. Everything, and I keep talking about, nowadays, but this movie even holds up nowadays. The VFX look great in it still. Everything with the Harrier jet. The humor is fun.
He's on the horse. John Wick 3, they wanted to do that.
Yep.
I mean, so John Wick 3's paying homage to it. And I love the Jamie Lee Curtis angle. I loved he's on a jet rescuing his daughter. And I love the truth serum bit. And
it's so, even that jet, the whole jet sequence there at the end of it is over the top, but it's still grounded. You can still see that happening. Mm-hmm. The chances of survival are incredibly low, but you can still see Schwarzenegger pulling that off.
And I think this movie gave Tom Arnold a career for many years.
Yeah, he was riding off of True Lies.
Because he was good in True Lies.
Now he's sending birthday wishes via Facebook to Iowa boys.
Yeah. So I think that's my top 5. Tier 1 is Terminator 2, True Lies, Hard Boiled, The Matrix, and Drunken Master 2. Which you can disagree with, but you also can't say this is you can't say any of these movies are crap.
No, it's a solid tier 1. I think my biggest thing is I haven't seen Drunken Master. So because of that, I feel like probably what's at the top of your tier 2 is probably what I would slide into this, but we'll find out here in a few minutes when we get to that.
Yeah.
But right now, no, I think your tier 1 is very solid, and I'm a little disappointed that I can't argue with you more on this. But we'll see what you've got going on down below. I can be easily persuaded by my own thoughts, especially when Bruce Willis gets involved.
Now, are you saying that you're angry that you couldn't get angry?
Yes. So now I'm starting to get angry because of that.
All right, tier 2. I might have stretched on this one, but this is another of my favorite. This is in my top 3 of 1990s action films, and that's Point Break. Catherine Bigelow.
Yep.
She got her, she sharpened her teeth on Near Dark, which is one of my favorite vampire movies. This movie, if you look at the Blu-ray box for it, or the reviews for it, they're like skydiving, football, robberies, surfing, gunfights, fistfights. This movie, it holds up, and I don't think there's been a more likable antagonist than Patrick Swayze, Bodhi.
Because I think everybody relates to him.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be Bodhi if they could actually make that break in life.
Vin Diesel wanted to be Bodhi.
Not necessarily go and rob banks and end up killing people, but like how cool he is.
It's cool.
Yeah, like you want to be around that guy.
And I think the addition of Keanu Reeves as a new type of action hero. So I talk about Keanu Reeves being a new type of action hero in Speed, right? New. But in 90, for Keanu, during the heyday of Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Lundgren, JCVD, Chuck Norris,
all guys that are big and jacked and ripped and know martial arts.
Exactly. And
or they can knock you out with one punch.
Larger than life. So in Hong Kong, they definitely had these heroes, but Keanu was new on our shores in 90. And so watching him fist fight, Keanu's a great action star. And I think this movie, Gary Busey was great in the 90s, dude. He was in some of the best 90s action movies, for sure. But I liked him as a mentor. I liked Keanu in this. He jumps out of an airplane and catches Patrick Swayze while they're going down. No parachute. Yeah, no parachute. The football scene where he tackles him 80 yards out of the way, which is insane. But just
Johnny Utah.
Have you caught anything lately? I caught a sweet tube this morning. Right? That's it's tier 2. For sure.
Man, see, I don't...
Would you put it tier 2?
No, and I think that's just my issue is limiting it to 5.
Yeah.
In the tiers. We can get into this later, but it's I feel like Point Break is tier 1. It's so good. It's so raw and gritty.
I think that's right. And that's what Bigelow...
intense.
That's what Bigelow excels at. Where you watch Hurt Locker, right? Or Zero Dark 30, or Near Dark, or Point Break, Detroit. Well, let's leave out K-19. I don't think she knows how to tell a glossy picture. Her movies, you feel the grime. Near Dark, and you feel the sweat. This movie, you feel the surfing. You feel when you're out there, when they're surfing together, when they give their high fives in the air, you are so happy. This movie, you feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
it's good.
That's why I created 5, because there's some drama, right? If I did 50 in each, it would be the most boring podcast ever. So, but that's it. So my next one is Speed. I had this in tier 1 for the longest time, because it's 3 action movies in one. I love the dynamic of Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. I think Dennis Hopper's villain is excellent. They blew up.
He's one of the great villains, in my opinion.
I like his story. I like what he does. And this movie, I would retire if I wrote this script. I would just say a bus can't go under 50 miles an hour in LA traffic. That's awesome. That's fun. And you like the characters. You like the people on the bus. At the end, they're on the train. He loses his head.
And I think that's part of it that gets overlooked is people forget the whole elevator sequence in the beginning, and they forget the train at the end of it. It's 3 incredible action set pieces that take up this entire movie. And I mean, obviously it's all based off of Speed being on the bus, but I think the elevator scene holds up just as well as the entire hour and a half on a bus.
Could have been a movie. And
it's just so inventive.
And Sandra Bullock I don't think she's ever been more likable. I know this is 94 and we're bringing this up, but I love that she just drove the bus. She crushed it. You never see characters like that. Remember, damsel in distress, or, someone gets kidnapped and then you gotta go rescue her. She just, she did get kidnapped, but that makes sense. But I love that dynamic between them. They felt so natural together.
They had a good chemistry.
And Keanu's, very introspective in it. He's very thoughtful. He thinks through the situations. He gets on the bus, doesn't know what to do. I think that's a really cool character in my mind. He gets on that bus and then it's just You know what else? You're on the journey with them in Speed. So many movies you feel like you're ahead of. When you're in Speed, you're in that bus with them. You're trying to figure it out as they are. And that's what's fun, It
had a good ensemble cast, too.
Yeah. Alan Ruck.
I mean, again, like we mentioned Dennis Hopper, but Alan Ruck, Joe Morton, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all characters that you like and you enjoy.
And the people on the bus, I don't know their names, but I see all their faces. I like all of them. It's a very good action movie.
It's such a good score,
and it was in tier 1 until this morning. True Lies won the tournament, and True Lies won on my poll that I put up. Now, do you think a lot of people call Speed is Die Hard on a bus? Because it has the villain, the over the top villain. They're stuck in a place. It's a different idea, but I think that's maybe why True Lies would go above it.
I think it's similar, but I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that.
It's a stretch.
Because they're not stuck in one location. They're stuck in a vessel.
Yeah.
But they're not stuck in one location. They're driving all over the city. Plus they're going into, elevators and trains and
that massive
trains.
Jump scene.
Yeah.
They jump the bus.
Scenes, they jump the bridge. The bridge is out. They gotta jump it. It's so fun. It's so good. So no, I don't think it's necessarily Die Hard on a bus, like Under Siege is Die Hard on a battleship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite,
really is.
I wouldn't quite take it that far.
And then Under Siege 2 is Die Hard on a train. Or Die Hard meets Speed on a train. Or Under Siege 2, yeah. Alright, so, the third one, which I don't know if you're gonna agree with, but The Fugitive. And I put this on here because you think about this movie and you think about the one-armed man. You think about him jumping out of that dam. That train crash in the beginning.
That train crash is so intense.
And then Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar. So Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar for an action movie, which never happens.
And he's a protagonist.
Yeah, protagonist.
I mean, it's a good guy versus a good guy for most of that movie.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah. That's right. And then he jumps out of the dam.
Like, this movie...
He's doing his job.
This movie, I feel like, could get lost in the shuffle, but it's an Oscar-winning... It's almost a prestige action film. It was directed by Andrew Davis, who made Under Siege. But this is a case of Harrison Ford being one of the biggest action stars on the planet. I didn't put Clear and Present Danger in here. I think Clear and Present Danger has amazing action scenes, but it's more about... it's more thriller-y to me. But this movie... It's just nonstop. It just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. And at the end, the action scene against the one-armed man, it's...
Yeah, I think this is also one of those... Personally, for me, it's more action thriller than just pure action, like some of the other movies. So Fugitive is one of my all-time favorite movies. And if I made a separate tier for thrillers, I think it would be in a tier 1.
Yeah.
For just thrills. But for action movies, if you're going to try to group it in with that as well... I think it's got to be tier 2 where you have it.
You're so mad. You're so angry right now.
I can't disagree with that one. I'm angry over Speed. I think Speed should be tier 1.
So the next one's Super Cop or Police Story 396. Now, the reason this is in here because it's Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh, just crushing folks on her work on motorcycles. They're hanging from cars. They're on trains. They're on boats. They're fist fighting. I mean, this is Jackie Chan. I prefer Drunken Master 2 because of its massive, fist fights. But as an action movie that never stops with some of the most impressive stunts in it, Stanley Tong directed it. He also did First Strike, Rumble in the Bronx. Action legend. This movie, though, what I like about it is it just doesn't stop. It's just Michelle Yeoh and Jackie Chan wiping people out. And I don't know if you've seen it, but just...
I haven't.
Jumping off motorcycles to land on top of cars. Jumping off of motorcycles to land on trains. Jackie Chan standing on top of a train fighting people. It's just a bonanza of action. Action explosion. So that's why I got that there.
Okay.
My last one's Fists of Legend, which was number 1 in tier 1, but I switched it with Drunken Master. So it's a remake of Bruce Lee's Fists of Fury, directed by Gordon Chan. But the choreographer, Yun Woo Ping, he went on to do The Matrix. And you watch the fighting in this movie that Jet Li does. So, he's fighting a bunch of Japanese who are over there. And the choreography is brilliant. This is a 94 movie. I had never seen fighting. In 94, we had Drunken Master 2, and we had Fist of Legend, which I think have some of the best fight choreography ever. And just watching these guys compete at fight and dance and the camera work. The way the camera work moved around these fight scenes, you'll see this in so many other movies. But I had to have, you can't have tier 1, tier 2 action movies without Jackie Chan or Jet Li.
Yeah.
Because their movies were sick in the 90s.
I think that's admittedly part of my problem too, is especially growing up in the 90s in the height of the action, I was definitely more involved with the Americana movies.
Yeah.
And so that's part of my problem that I've never solved as well. And I'm going to note that, and I need to go back and watch some of these.
Because we couldn't really rent them. Like, Blockbuster maybe had a couple copies. And the only reason I got into them was Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Because Tarantino brought it over here. So I saw it in the theater. I'm like, this is amazing. You know, and then I watched the other movies that came out with him in it, like Operation Condor.
Yep.
And then so as soon as I could start renting these movies, I started. But we're not, like, this is late 90s when I started doing that. So I was not on this Hong Kong wave. I was into Hard Boiled much later than Jackie Chan. I didn't learn about Hard Boiled probably till the late 2000s.
I was going to say, I don't think I've got the Hard Boiled DVD, but I don't think I actually watched that till, probably late 2000s as well for the first time.
Because you don't know much about the gun fu as you know much about the Jackie Chan. Because he blew up in the 2000s.
Yeah.
In the States. Like, you know, Shanghai Nights and Shanghai Noon, they're good movies.
They are good movies.
They're good action movies.
I almost went and bought those on Vudu the other day.
They're not just, you think that they're cheeky movies with Owen Wilson, but they're good. Like, they're both fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. They crush it. So I had to have two Jackie Chans because I think he's the king of the 90s action. Then I had to have Jet Li in Fist of Legend. Now, Fist of Legend was tier 1 because you look at the choreography in The Matrix and you'll see it in this movie. So that's why I had it. But that's tier 2. So, hey, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll do tier 3, 4, and 5. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And I'm worried, Tom, because you're not angry. I've seen you on film sets before. We've been drinking coffee, blocking up some area, probably 6-7 years ago. And you just start screaming about an exclusion from the 1980s list.
Well, I'm sorry to curse on here, but it's kind of pissing me off because I can't argue with it so far. You've got a couple movies that I haven't seen, so I can't.
I was worried about that.
I can't go off on those.
Yeah.
I can replace them with something else, but right now I can't be angry over them because of the quality of films that you have picked have surprisingly been good. But looking at your tier 3, I love this tier 3. This tier 3 could be my tier 1.
Really?
It could be. It's so close.
Does it make sense to you based on my first 2 tiers, though? Tier 3?
Yeah, I think I could take out a couple of these and put in and bump some of these movies up.
All right, so in my tier 3, I have some movies that are really... I didn't know how to do it. This was tough. But my tier 3, it's The Rock.
Yeah.
Directed by Michael Bay. He had made Bad Boys, which is a good action film. But The Rock... All right, so I love Bad Boys. I almost put it in the list, or maybe I did. But it's more of a stock... It's an action film, right? It's just a fun action film. The Rock... They have to find Sean Connery. He does kill tons of people with a Hummer, though, when he runs through a building. He murders San Francisco people.
He destroys San Francisco, knocks that trolley off it blows up like a whole city block.
Yeah, that's my least favorite part of the movie. That part could not exist and I would be fine. But they have to break into Alcatraz to fight an antagonist who you like. And you
relate to him.
He has Tony Todd. Like, he has some of the best henchmen.
Ed Harris as Francis X. Hummel. The sad thing is I know these characters' names because I've seen this movie so much. At one point in high school, after I quit all athletics, every day I went home and watched at least part of this movie and then continued it until I just started it over. And for almost a month straight, that's all I did every time I went home. I went home and I watched The Rock.
I mean,
it's got everything for me. This is definitely tier 1.
And I almost moved this up higher because this kicked off the Nick Cage action craze. And so we'll get further into his movies as we get down the list. But this movie, I thought him and Connery had fantastic chemistry.
Stanley Goodspeed.
Yeah. Also, Goodspeed. Goodspeed. Go home. I'm going to get my PG-13 rating. Go home and fuck the cheerleader. So...
Just always whine about their best.
Yeah, and it's just, but I loved him in this movie. But also when the Marines that they go into get slaughtered, they just get caught and shot.
Michael Biehn.
And then, he's
you think this guy is going to come in and just kick the hell out of everybody.
And that was great about 90s movies. Executive Decision, Deep Blue Sea.
They would bring in these bigger cast members and you didn't know if they were going to make it.
Just wipe them out.
Not that there were, I don't think we can ruin a 24-year-old movie at this point. But, yeah, I mean, they wipe them out.
It's just, this movie, with those balls, too, those green poison balls, and Nick Cage diving for them, and the chips
the VX poison gas?
The chips that he has to take out of them.
the tracking
Oh, Bokeem
Microchips.
Woodbine. Bokeem's awesome. Like, I loved him in Fargo season 3. Just you watch this movie and it's just filled with everybody you like.
So I think what gets me with this movie is one, I've got to talk about Hans Zimmer because I love the score in this movie.
Yeah.
This is like one of the greatest action scores of all time. It's like it's impossible not to get into it. But more with it is that this movie, believe it or not, was nominated for an Academy Award for sound editing. And I think that's what puts it up into tier 1 for me, is that there's so much going on in the movie audibly. Like, there's always something to listen to, something that you're going to discover. And it's like, this is one of the first action movies, like, when they just stop using the same gunshot effect over and over again. Like, you go back and listen to, like, some of, like, the earlier 90s movies, or, like, especially, like, Demolition Man. Yeah. Like, the gunshots all sound the same. Everything sounds the same. Between handguns, shotguns, machine guns, it all sounds the same. This actually gets into, like, this deep, throaty bass for, like, one of the first times for, like, explosions, and it's just got a full scale to everything.
Now, you haven't watched Drunken Master 2, but would you put it as game change? So would you say I don't think True Lies was a game changing action film, but I think it's such a quality action film, it's tier 1. But would you put it alongside a T2, a Hard Boiled, or The Matrix as far as game changing?
The Rock?
Yeah.
For me, personally, yes.
Because of the sound design.
The sound design. And it's got the star power, too, behind it.
Big A-list star power.
I mean, Nick Cage, he was an Academy Award winner at that point. Yeah. Not necessarily action.
James Bond.
Sean Connery. Ed Harris. Like, those were huge names at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, just big, big monster names. And it's, again, like we talk about, I think Ed Harris's villain is one of the more underrated villains.
Great because
around. I mean, it's because you also relate to him. Like, he's doing this, he's lost his marbles, but he's doing it for a cause that I think everybody can relate to.
That's why, those are my favorite movie villains, where, like, the ones that come off the top of my head, I really like, in Black Panther, I really like that guy. They're the obvious villains. Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, Killmonger.
Obvious villain. They're not the heroes, and they've lost it, but you understand them. And I think that's what makes villains really good. That's why this is gonna sound crazy, I've never been a big fan of the Joker, because everyone's like, he's all anarchy. But in Dark Knight, he has the most meticulous plan ever. Mm-hmm. So he's fabricating a fake public persona. I don't know. I don't relate to anything he does.
No, I don't.
Because it's not anarchy. It's not. It's controlled chaos. But for me, when I watch The Rock, I feel for Ed Harris, and I know why he he brings in people that are worse than him. You know, you watch, like, I don't know. I like knowing that the villain's the villain, but I also like knowing this is why they're the villain, and he's perfect for that. I mean, yeah, this is
Michael Bay at his absolute best. And it's his second movie ever.
This is his best action movie.
It's his by far and away, I think, his best movie in general.
Best acted? I mean,
I think it's got everything. Like, I don't think, like, there isn't really a character in it that I don't buy. Like, you even boil down to Forsythe and Spencer as
Forsythe.
Like the FBI agents. Like, everybody in the movie serves a purpose and they're good. Like, there's not a poorly acted character in the entire thing. But it's like, even like the camera work, like everything holds up. Everything is great. The color palette's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I think it still looks good.
I guess he started with Bad Boys with that color palette. Yeah. And then he, like, an orange.
And it had like the orange and it, like the dark contrast. Yeah. You know, the deep blacks and the light lights. Like, there was a huge difference on the scale between everything.
And it really had the rah-rah kind of Americana look when Nick Cage puts out the flares. Like, that's... Oh, yeah.
Launch green flares and wait for the cavalry, man.
I almost wish this movie wasn't a success, so then Michael Bay didn't just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that... I've been waiting 20 years for him to dial it back and go back to these. And I think 13 hours is as close as you're going to get.
I like that movie.
I love 13 hours.
I like when he scales at Bad Boys. Mm-hmm. I like Pain and Gain.
I think that's part of my issue with, like, Bad Boys 2 is that he took it over the top. Like, it wasn't Bad Boys anymore.
They destroyed a shanty town.
Oh,
they killed hundreds.
They killed maybe thousands of people just, like, sleeping in that shanty town.
All right, so my next one is Heat, directed by Michael Mann. Mm-hmm. Now, this was my toughest inclusion because some people could say this is a thriller, crime thriller. I just think the action, though, was built around this gunfight in this. And this is a De Niro...
The heist.
Yeah, the heist. This is De Niro meeting Pacino. I mean, this was groundbreaking
for the first time.
Yeah. And you look... Oh, go for
it. They were in Godfather, but they had never shared.
It was a prequel, right?
Yeah, they had never shared the screen together. This was the first time in the cinematic history of two of the biggest name actors sharing the screen.
I mean, even in 95, so I'm 37, even when I watched this movie in theaters in 95, I knew the significance. When I was 13, I knew the significance of the scene. And I loved Val Kilmer in this movie with Ashley Judd.
His name was Chris in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's Chris Knight from Real Genius? Do you think he grew up, do you think he grew up to be a bad guy?
Oh, that makes me happy.
Marry a super hot Ashley Judd and then become a criminal.
I love the I could see him doing that. I loved, Wes Studies in this movie, Tom Sizemore. I like the cops and I like the villains. I like Ted Levine. I love the antagonists. I love the protagonists. Now, you could say maybe it's a crime thriller. Natalie Portman was in this movie too, and she commits suicide. Her first 3...
She lives.
Yeah.
Not that I'm spoiling anything. She attempts it, yeah.
She's also in Beautiful Girls when she's like 13, and this guy's like, if I wait 5 years, I can just hook up with her. And then you have Professional. She had...
So Leon.
Her 3 first movies were gnarly, dude. But I think Heat is just a prestige movie with a gunfight that... you watch Den of Thieves now. That wanted to be Heat.
It's wanted to be Heat, yeah.
And so...
Definitely isn't.
You can make the argument that this isn't an action movie, but I think this movie was written around this action scene. So I think they went into it with an action mindset. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think my battle with it is I don't know if I consider it an action movie like you are. So it would not offend me if it wasn't on the list. But I still feel, again, it's like if you're going to put in like a crime thriller list, this is a tier 1 for me.
Yeah, like Fugitive.
It's not 2.5 hours of balls to the wall action.
Yeah.
Like some of these other movies are.
I just, for some reason, so I left out like Last of the Mohicans, some of these movies, which we were talking about, I think has one of my favorite action scenes ever with the score. But for some reason, I couldn't take this out. I don't know why. I couldn't take it out. And so I guess that's where I'm kind of meaty on that. So that's why I also put it in tier 3. Tier 3, Mission Impossible, 96, directed by Brian De Palma. Now, this movie has some of the most iconic action scenes. This movie created more tension with Tom Cruise hanging from a wire, right?
In a controlled environment, computer server
Can
room.
you think of another... So in 96, you're watching this movie. Can you think of another scene where you just didn't breathe?
Where it's the tension of it, yeah. The sweat dripping off of his glasses. Like
and then also the scene on the train at the end where he explodes the helicopter and you get shot onto the train.
Pinches it together, slaps it on the glass, and then jumps.
I mean, I think De Palma also added a very noirish vibe to it, which was wrecked in Mission Impossible too.
Yeah, it's definitely speckled throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, especially there at the beginning, when they're doing the reconnaissance mission or like the follow mission of the guy. Yeah, trying to get the list.
Like, I love...
The list is in the open. Dead! They're all dead!
I hate when he kills the fish.
Oh, yeah. Throws the gum on the aquarium.
It's kind of
a dick move.
Yeah,
I feel like there's another way he could have gotten out, but then you wouldn't have that iconic shot of him running through the busted out window with all the water flowing in behind him.
He could have just ran away.
And man, he's got a good run. You've already covered that plenty.
Yeah, you're correct.
You really see it in that movie.
My next tier 3 is Total Recall. Paul Verhoeven, fresh off of RoboCop. He also had Starship Troopers in the 90s, which I love. But I think it's too jokey, the premise.
Yeah.
To really be included in this, because Verhoeven makes Starship...
It's grounded, and you've got the gun paddles that were a necessity for you, but you're also not... It's not human on human.
Yeah, and it's just
a creature. It's almost a creature feature.
Creature shooting butt juice.
Yeah.
And blowing planes, right?
Brain sucking butt juice.
Now, Total Recall was a smash hit in 1990. Based off a Philip K. Dick novel. It was incredibly high concept for an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And we were talking about this. You should listen to our Total Recall episode because it's been my biggest MFF episode of 2019. And at the end, you don't know if he's dreaming, if he's still in there, if it's Total Recall. Is he home? You don't know. So it's the rare 1990 big, ballsy, bloody action film.
With brains.
It's a smart movie.
It's the inception of 1990.
Yeah. And people were confused by it, but I also think the makeup work is incredible. I love the makeup work in this movie. I mean,
when he's out and it's at Mars, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's outside and he can't breathe, and all of a sudden he's like, and his eyes are bulging out of his head, and yeah, that's some pretty.
And I know it's like very 90, but the three-breasted woman and
I was just gonna say that. I didn't know if I should.
like, I want a divorce. Like, the fight with Sharon Stone. Like, and then Michael Ironside. I thought Michael Ironside was I think there had to have been people in the 80s. Well, Bennett, right? In Commando, but I thought Ironside was the best main henchman to the main antagonist. Ironside is not the boss. Mm-hmm. He's a henchman.
He's a henchman.
But he's still a great henchman antagonist.
He's
Does that make sense?
man.
Yeah. Like, he's like Gary Busey Under Siege. But I think, I also like this movie, though. It adds humor into it, but it's also extremely bloody. I mean,
It is. It's very gory.
I mean, the shootouts in this movie are nuts. And I like the fight scenes. I like where it goes. I like the intelligence of it. So, for me, I couldn't add it in tier 1 to tier 2 because I think this movie's more memorable for its themes and its one-liners than it is for the overall action, but it's a great action movie.
It's a good escape film.
Yeah.
If you like to escape into that type of stuff.
And so I had to put it tier 3. I think people might argue that it could be tier 1, tier 2, or might not even be on the list, but I had to add it. And now this is my biggest stretch of all of my movies, and this is tier 3. And I think a little bit of my favoritism played in because I'm a huge Robert Rodriguez homer. I read his book, Rebel Without a Crew. I love him on the chef show where he makes chocolate and pizza for Jon Favreau, which is awesome. I also love El Mariachi. I think that's a very good movie, but it's Desperado. And I put it in tier 3 because partially, okay, it was something different for me in 95 to see this movie. Like, just see the vibe of it. Like, I hadn't really immersed myself in this kind of world. Like, seeing Antonio Banderas felt new to me. Does that make sense? Like, you're watching Stallone, you're watching JCVD, but then to see Banderas and, like, the setting, and Danny Trejo throwing knives.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't... I think especially in the mid-90s, he's almost the Latin version of a Keanu Reeves. Like, you didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, when did Assassins come out?
Later.
94?
Yeah.
No, 96.
96.
So it was after this.
Yeah.
So, like, this, I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like this kind of launched Banderas as an action star.
And, 90s, you're watching this, though. I went and bought throwing knives after this movie. Threw it into a tree, bounced off the tree, almost landed in my foot. But you watch this, when I was 13, watching the scene, like Salma Hayek, and, I mean, this is like a pretty sexy movie, too, man.
It is.
But the violence is really over the top as well. And then he joins up with his buddies later on from El Mariachi. And then they get killed, the guitar case shooting bullets. Horribly
the
impractical.
Rocket launcher.
Yes, horribly impractical, but it's just so, like hard boiled.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like, it's Hong Kong cinema as seen by Robert Rodriguez. And just seeing remember when that guy squats down on the side?
He launches it and he squats down with one leg stretched out to the side.
And the other guy's just taking his guitar. And then when they get killed.
And they're just smiling at each other.
When people get shot, I didn't even know who these guys were. And it affected me. So I think I love this movie, dude. And so I had to put it tier 3.
I don't think it does, especially like you go back and you look at especially the top of your tier 3 with The Rock, but then tier 1 and tier 2. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but all the small things it does really good.
Yeah.
So it's the utility position in baseball. It does everything.
Yep. It's the Ben Zobrist.
It's the Swiss Army knife of action movies. It does everything really good, but at least in my opinion, nothing great.
Yeah.
Which is still a compliment to it. It's able to mix all these different things together.
How excited were you
film.
For what? The Once Upon a Time in Mexico when that came out?
I was very excited.
I bought the poster before I saw the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, another one with, I don't know why Johnny Depp was in it. I just wanted more Banderas. But I was, oh my gosh, because I love Desperado so much. But I think you're right. I think it's super stylish, but I don't think it did anything hard-boiled didn't do. Mm-hmm. But I love the knife throwing scene.
The knife throwing stuff in it, and then you've got the random Mexican gang member with the injured knee.
Yeah.
For the longest time I was like, I like this kid. What's gonna happen? Is he gonna get out? Well, no one escapes.
Yeah.
But it's you don't you just feel for these tertiary characters that are involved with it too, and there's nothing to them. But yeah, I think it just does everything well.
It's a complete opposite.
It's a good, solid tier 3 film.
I'm happy. I couldn't put it any higher, but I couldn't put it any lower. I know that's weird, but I couldn't. If it was in tier 5, I'd be like, no, that doesn't feel right.
No, it deserves this spot.
All right,
Steve Buscemi's in it.
Oh, yeah.
You forget about that
and then
a lot.
Cheech Marin, Quentin Tarantino. Yep. All right, so tier 4. This is Luc Besson. It's Fifth Element.
Ooh.
Now this.
Okay.
it's a sci-fi movie, right? But there's a lot of on-the-ground action. There's, you have the flying cars, but then you have the massive battle at the end with the aliens. You have Leeloo Dallas kicking the crap out of people. It's super stylized.
Corbin Dallas!
And also...
Chris Tucker.
He also did La Femme Nikita, the director, Luc Besson, and Lucy, and he did Valerian, which I love.
Didn't he do Leon?
Yeah, he did Leon. And so this movie, I had to have some Luc Besson, but just watching this movie, I think of all the 90s action films, this is in the top 5 of movies that have lived on.
Yeah.
Because people love Leeloo Dallas. Everyone knows Multipass, right? Like the weirdness of it.
I think I feel like this probably could be bumped up into a tier 3, and some of this is probably my Bruce Willis favoritism getting involved, but the movie is just weird.
Yeah.
It's especially, like, I remember watching this. I don't think I watched it. Would it come out in 97?
Gary Oldman's performance is on another world.
Like, I don't remember watching this in theaters, but I remember buying it on VHS and loving it, but also thinking at the same time, like, this is weird. Like, this is so much better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be this good of a movie, but it is.
And just the opening car chase.
The taxis, like the flying taxis. I mean, it's just weird. There's so many odd elements that are thrown into this. Like, Basin was
the guy
just
with
like,
the broken nose.
I want to do it all, and I want to cram it into this movie.
And that's what it was. I mean,
give me Bruce Willis and Gary Oldman, and let's do it.
He got so much money for this movie. They gave him tons of money to make this, and it just works. I think it's ahead of its time. I think the CGI still holds up, and I think the weirdness of it. Mm-hmm. I saw several Chris Tucker cosplayers at Dragon Con. So
yeah,
it's a very, I think it's so weird, but I also think the action hits hard and it's very memorable. So next is Rumble in the Bronx, 95. I mean, this is what Tarantino introduced me to, but just watching Jackie Chan.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't in the Bronx, but just watching him, this was my first experience. I don't think it's his best movie.
And I'm trying to remember this correctly. He gets the crap beat out of him in the beginning of this movie, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, that's the scene that's always stuck with me. It's like you always think of the hero making it out of every situation, and he just gets pummeled. Again, it's by like 50 guys, but he just gets absolutely demolished.
It's awesome.
And that's what I remember most from this movie.
In the 90s, that never happened, right? Like, you're not used to your heroes getting pummeled in the 90s. And so just watching this movie, I just think I love the fight, the gaggy fight inside the grocery store, the hovercraft. It's just a big, bold,
hovercraft,
fun.
Yes.
So this was my first experience with Jackie Chan, and I wasn't used to the humor of it all. I mean, this is like a animated film, and it was almost like I've used the term ballet. It's like an animated ballet of violence. It's not overly mean. It's just there to give you fun action, right? My next one's Face Off. This is John Woo's best American film. So he came in with Broken Arrow. All I remember from that is John Travolta smoking cigarettes, Howie Long being somewhat good, and Howie Long getting kicked out of the train. That was a cool visual.
Yeah.
Then he did Hard Target. Well, he did Hard Target, then Broken Arrow. Hard Target, Chance Boudreaux.
Another JCVD that
mullet.
Hard Target was pretty brutal, though.
He punches a snake.
He does punch a snake, and isn't... Oh man, what's his name? The guy from Millennium.
Lance Hendrickson?
Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah. And Oded Fair is really good in it. I mean, it's fun. But this one, though, is Travolta and Cage at the height of their powers. The height of their powers. And this movie's so weird. There's a prison escape with metal boots.
Yeah.
There's weird...
the murdering convict that then all of a sudden you want to live.
Yeah.
That's helping Cage escape. It's interesting.
And then the end boat chase where they're on a boat hitting each other with anchors. And then the gunfight to Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah. With the little kid with like his soundproof, noise canceling mid-90s headphones on.
Now, once again, I don't think this movie does anything new. It introduces the face-off. The reason this movie's so much fun is because they swap roles and the actors are having fun. I don't think
you get it. That's true. I mean, you get to see both guys act as good guys and both guys act as bad guys.
I don't think it introduces some of the greatest action into the lexicon, but it's John Woo at his best since Hard Boiled.
I think if you would have made this list, let's say, like 2005, let's go back almost 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, this would probably be a tier 1, tier 2 list. Like, I feel like it was that big of an action movie during that time in the subsequent years, but at least in my, I don't know, my opinion that the tier 4 is probably fine with me for that.
Yeah, I think it fits. My next one's Once Upon a Time in China Part 2. Jet Li, 1992. Basically just facing off of this really xenophobic crew when he goes back to China. This kind of cult-esque crew. But the fights, dude, just, if you haven't watched Once Upon a Time in China, even if you don't want to watch the movie, just YouTube all the fights. It'll blow your mind. I have it in tier 4, whereas I have Fist of Legend in tier 2, because I just think Fist of Legend is a little bit more sophisticated in its fight scenes. Does that make sense? A little newer, a little bit more influential. I think Once Upon a Time in China has amazing fight scenes, and it has to be in the top 5 tiers, but it's not as innovative. I think it's a better sequel, which is rare for action films, but I had to put it here. Last not least, you're going to be happy with this, and it's Die Hard with a Vengeance. Now, this one's a stretch for me, because I don't know if it is in the top 25, but I put it in here because it's just a sweaty John McTiernan at his best action film with two actors who really like each other, Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis. And also a sequel, they took another script, as Simon says. But it's a sequel where I love the urgency to it. This sequel moves, and it's also very violent. But yeah, so I included this in here. I think it's tier 4 because it was a massive blockbuster. It was a very good third action film. And I love the urgency of it.
I think it's entirely underrated. Like, I don't even think it's got a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
63%.
Is it a 63?
I think so.
So it's gone up a little bit over the years. But I don't know. This is what started Die Hard for me.
Really?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in the Live Fury Die Hard podcast. But Die Hard 3 is the first one that I saw of the series. And so I was like 12 years old when I first watched it, and I watched it like 3 times that night.
52%. So
it's like, I don't know, again, this is my sentimentality of it, but I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like, for me, this is probably...
But it's big budget.
For me, it's probably got to be a tier 2.
It's
like, I think it's that good. I mean, it's got the ensemble cast that you don't see that often from action movies with Sam Jackson, Bruce Willis, Jeremy Irons, Graham Greene.
Yeah,
he's not necessarily a big star.
Yeah, but he's awesome.
But he's awesome in it. You know, then you've got all these like other like smaller secondary characters like in the police force. But
the giant bomb scene. It's a movie though. I think
it does
you're right,
everything though. Really. For me, what were we talking about? It's almost like a big budget Desperado. Like, it doesn't do anything amazing, but what it does very well. Like, it does, like, the thrills, the car chases, the gunshots, like the gun fights. You know, you got, like, the fisticuffs.
Yeah.
And it's not kung fu. It's like guys just swinging at each other and picking up chains. Like, they're using stuff.
He fights that big guy on the boat. He
fights that big little man.
Yeah. I think this movie is... I could see it being underappreciated because just to create the tension that it does. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a pretty good marvel of editing.
Yeah.
If you think about it. I mean, you watch this movie and it's tense all the way through and you feel it.
It's the race against time when when they're in the cabbie, when they're in the taxi cab driving through Central Park, up and down the streets.
Except for that mime.
Yeah. Well,
trying to hit these people? Well, maybe that mime.
Yeah, I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. I love it.
And it's McTiernan's kind of his last really great... Well, he did Thomas Crown Affair, but I think it's his last really great action film. I did love 13th Warrior, though. That's a great movie.
Yeah, then when he came back and did, like, Basic.
Yeah.
And then that's been it.
That did well.
It did do well.
Jackson, Travolta. Yeah. I was working in a theater when that movie came out, and it kept selling out because other movies were selling out, so people just go watch it.
Well, I guess we'll go watch Basic.
That's like General's Daughter. That's how it made so much money. Everything else was selling out, so like, I'll just go see General's Daughter. Now, tier 5, which I think could be the most contested out of all my tiers, but I'm very happy with all these. And maybe this is my stretch one, but I'm very happy. So I have Blade, directed by Stephen Norrington. A lot of people think of Blade, and I don't think I don't think people remember how good the action in Blade is. How good the choreography and martial arts were. The final battle in the beginning
sword
fight.
Choreography?
Yeah. That sword fight, and then the beginning when he fights those henchmen, and at the end when he fights all those henchmen, I don't know how this movie has a Rotten Tomato meter score. And I just don't think...
Is it rotten?
Yeah, all 3 of them are. Well, the third one, of course. But the second one's rotten, too. Stupid. Now, you watch this movie, and watch it again if you haven't watched it in a while. The choreography is something else. I mean, it's really great. I love the choreography in this movie. And I think The Crow came out in 94, but I don't think The action in The Crow is great. I think The Crow is a very good mood piece and a very good introduction to R-rated comic book adaptations. Well, The Punisher came before that, but, Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren's
Now,
Punisher.
this Blade, though, was a massive success. R-rated comic book movie. And then 2001, you had 2001, you had X-Men, but Blade, I think, kicked the door open.
Blade did kick it open. I don't know if we'd have a Deadpool without Blade.
I mean, this was a big R-rated success, and I think the blood rave, I'm telling you, just type in Blade action scenes and watch it again, and tell me it doesn't belong. Also, I had to get Wesley Snipes in here somewhere because you can't have Wesley Snipes not in a '90s action movie tier.
And arguably, this might be one of Snipes' best acting roles too.
He's so good in it.
He is good in it. He's dark. He's moody.
Yeah.
Foreboding.
Funny.
He's funny. He's a bit of an a-hole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good in it. Chris Christopherson's good as just like his southern sidekick.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good, solid movie.
I don't want to get the R rating, but some mother effers are trying to ice skate uphill, and then when he looks at the cop, he goes, "Mother effer!" It's awesome, and then he's cool, but he's trying. Mm-hmm. I was watching Blade Trinity again, and I remember loving it because of Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel. She was an awesome action movie. She could have been an action star. I don't know how long you can sustain that, because she got jacked for that movie.
She did get jacked for that.
I wanted them out. I wanted more Wesley Snipes. As much as I love them, I'm like, they should have let Wesley finish up his trilogy. Never. Now, next is Leon, Luc Besson. Now, I guess people could say Leon is a thriller, maybe, or it's a drama. I think this movie has to be in here because of the different type of hitman. He was untouchable. The opening scene where he's killing people. Yeah. The finale where he's fighting. Gary Oldman's villain. Everyone. I mean, this movie has some weird context with Natalie Portman. I think it's a father-daughter relationship. There's no, love story
There's nothing sexual with
Nothing.
It. But I think I wouldn't say maybe one of the negative aspects to the movie, but I think that's part of, I don't know, trying to figure out how to phrase it. That feels like a connotation that's followed it throughout the years, is people don't necessarily know how to relate to that relationship.
Maybe when we saw it when we were 13, we're like, oh wow, Natalie Portman. But now when you watch it as a 37-year-old man, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
But I guess I never got that vibe from Jean Reno's character, Leon, in it. But I guess just for me, the action scenes. I see the action in this movie so clearly. I had to put it in here. Mm-hmm. I love Gary Oldman's character, the ending. I think I almost cried at the ending. When he, this is for Matilda, and then Danny Aiello's in it. I just like
it's a very, very good movie.
And so I don't know where you put it, but I had to add it. Next is Tier 5 is Goldeneye, directed by Martin Campbell. Before this, he did No Escape, which I loved. I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I love No Escape with Ray Liotta. He also did Mask of Zorro, which I love, your favorite, Vertical Limit. And then he rebooted Bond again for Casino Royale. But Goldeneye, the bungee jump in the beginning. The fight with Xenia on the top. The tank chase.
The tank chase. And the thing with Goldeneye is
the catwalk battle scene.
James Bond had died out at that point. There hadn't been James Bond hadn't been in a movie in 7 years or something like that. I mean, it was
Dalton's Living Daylights?
Yeah, Living Daylight or something like that in 88 or 86. So it's it'd been a very long time. And so people have been trying to figure out how to get James Bond back in. And then I remember at the time all this criticism with Pierce Brosnan being cast, and he was awesome.
And I like the return of an athletic Bond. That scene at the end, I also love the antagonist in this movie, 006, Sean Bean.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand it when I saw it. When I watched it the first time, all the women that you slept with and died. He's calling Bond out for his crap.
It's getting personal.
You know how many women you killed? Are you going to drown it in a martini? This is sophisticated stuff.
Other than Skyfall, this is the most personal James Bond movie.
I'd say so, just with 006 saying that stuff, and for England James, and I love the ending. I like the athletic Bond. When Bean and Bond are fighting, they're flipping, they're flying, they're jumping, they're running. I like the athleticism of it.
A scene that's always stuck with me, and I haven't seen this movie in probably a decade, and I need to go back and watch it again, is where they're on the dam, and that single prop plane goes off the dam, and there's nobody in it, and he's on a motorcycle, and he jumps off. I remember watching this behind the scenes feature probably 15 years ago. They did that stunt. The guy actually had a parachute on in case. Obviously, in the movie, Bond doesn't, but it was a guy named, and I don't know how I remember his name, is B.J. Surhoff, follows the plane off the dam, skydives into that plane, and pulls it back up. It's that was a practical stunt.
It's a practical, the bungee
insane.
jump.
It's insane.
Yeah, so this movie, maybe you could move it up, but I think it's tier 5. Ronin is my last one. Second to last is John Frankenheimer. He was known for Manchurian Candidate and all these kind of films, but Sean Bean's, man, he's like my tier 5 guy. But for me, the car chases in this movie.
I'm gonna say I'm glad you included Ronin into this list somewhere.
I'm a bullet guy, and I definitely like Vanishing. But those car chases, as much as alright, so this may sound like sacrilege, right? I love Bullet. I just watched it again. My in-laws and I had a long conversation about because they recreated a car on a show. His son had it recreated as but they used a Cobra body, not like a fastback body. Now that was kind of on the empty streets of San Francisco, which is awesome. But I love the chase. But you watch Ronin, and these are packed streets. These are tight quarters. It's very thrillery. There's a mystery to it. But these car chases are on these packed streets with De Niro and Jean Reno and Sean Bean. I mean, I just love.
They're realistic car chases.
Yeah.
They're not going 128 miles an hour out on open roads. Like, these guys are struggling to get up to speed. They're hitting stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, Tom Cruise, Jack
Burton? No, Jack Reacher?
Jack Reacher.
That was good.
Like, his car chase in that, like, I feel is, like, very, like, inspired by Ronin.
Yeah.
Like, for people who have not seen Ronin.
Jack Burton. And a truck chase?
And a truck chase. But I mean, like, they're hitting stuff. They're swerving into, like, hitting other vehicles. Like, it's not...
Imagine the second unit work. If you and I were on the second unit,
it's gritty.
Yeah.
It's gritty, and it's a realistic chase scene.
And the stunts are beautiful. The way they choreograph this. How long would it be? This second unit would take us months.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be drinking a lot of coffee.
For that, yeah. It'd be a lot of iced coffee. I don't know if they had iced coffee in 97, but
I just dumped some ice in my hot coffee. You watch it again and it holds up. I love the scene with the cup. Remember they drop the cup and he catches it?
Yeah.
You have Sean Bean being shifty. Jean Reno, correct?
Yep.
He's in 3 of my movies in this list. Good job, Jean. Last but not least, I had to add Rennie Harlin. I mean, he had Die Hard 2, which I think is an excellent action film. Cliffhanger, which I think is a very good action film. He did Deep Blue Sea in 99, but The Long Kiss Goodnight with the script by Shane Black, right? Mm-hmm. You can't have a 90s... I don't know, I had to have Shane Black, I had to have Rennie Harlin, but The Long Kiss Goodnight, I love Gina Davis in this movie, and I love Sam Jackson in this movie. I don't think it gets enough love, because the opening scene where she hasn't gotten her powers back and she's fighting in her house, it's so brutal. And there's an action scene where she chases down a thing on ice skates. There's another one where she jumps out of a window, shoots the hole in the water, and they fall into the water, the iced water, like where she's getting tortured.
Aren't they like suspended on a line at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Like over a fire, and she like cuts the line, like, die screaming, mother.
Yeah. It's bloody, and I love the protagonist in it. I think that guy is hilarious. It's just a Shane Blacky script directed not over the top by Rennie Harlin. I just think it's a mixture of that. And I had to add it in tier 5 because I think it's underrated. I had to drop Long Kiss Goodnight. I don't know. I think I wrote an article about Deep Blue Sea for Rotten Tomatoes on its 20th anniversary. And if you think about the 90s, right? In the 2000s we started having Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Salt, Tomb Raider, Columbiana. But there weren't too many female-led action films in the 90s. And Cutthroat Island...
What's wrong with Barbed Wire? You didn't put that on there?
Oh, goodness. They gave $100 and some million to have Gina Davis star in a pirate movie. Like, that's...
one of the biggest flops of all time.
But, like, that's cool they did it, right?
Yeah.
Like, Rennie Harlin, they were married, of course, with Gina Davis, but I don't know, I dig that we had this role, too. I think it was ahead of its time, because she became like a stone cold killer in this. She wasn't, does that make sense? Like, in this movie, she was a badass. And I don't think audiences were ready for that quite yet. Does that make sense? Like, she was just, I don't know, I dig it.
It's a good action movie and it's right. I don't know. I feel like it's got to be in there somewhere. But I'm also a huge fan of Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger. So it's like I would not object if either one of those movies bumped it out of the way.
Cliffhanger's like tier 9. And I think Die Hard 2's tier 6.
Cliffhanger's so freaking good.
I watched it again, and it's
so good.
Now, the practical effects are cool, but there's some fight scenes that, I don't know, any movie where John Lithgow's working the ribs of Sylvester Stallone drops it a tier.
Yeah, but they're on a upside down helicopter off of a ladder.
I think this movie's ahead of its time, and I just love how on the ground it is, and I dig it. So that's my list, man. What would you add into these tiers?
Oh, man. Okay, well, you've had a big glaring omission, and we kind of talked about this before the podcast of Independence Day. For me, I think that's definitely an action movie. I don't know where that would go. I feel like that could go tier 3, possibly as high as tier 2. I don't know what it would replace, especially with the parameters of only 5 per tier.
Yeah.
But it's like that movie was so big and so ahead of its time when it came out in 96. At one point, it was like the 5th highest grossing movie of all time.
It made so much bank.
It was just massive, and how inventive and innovative it was, especially with the explosions. Like, they built the cities, model cities.
Little guys.
And they couldn't figure out how to create the explosions through it. So they literally turned their models vertical and shot the flames up through it to make these effects. I love that movie. It launched Will Smith. I mean, Bad Boys was big, but it wasn't... He could have still gone either way at that point in his career.
He was still B-movie, like, action star. Independence Day made him A++. Or he was maybe A- after Bad Boys, but then...
He was big, but he still wasn't quite leading man material. Like, he was top billed, and I believe that was his first movie being top billed, was Independence Day.
And when you see him punching an alien in the face and dragging
Welcome
it...
to Earth.
he became an A-lister right then and there. I guess the dogfights... I want it on the ground kind of action.
I can get that. I can get where it would go out. I guess another Will Smith movie that I feel like could possibly be in there is Enemy of the State. Yeah. Like, I feel like that movie is so incredibly underrated.
With a great cast.
Amazing cast, but just like...
Gene Hackman.
The espionage tracking stuff, like the wiretapping, like all that stuff, like people are paranoid today over that, and like that's cutting edge back in 97.
Tony Scott,
like, you were not worried about somebody eavesdropping into your cell phone conversations and tracking you satellite and, you know, security camera networks and stuff like that, but like that made that stuff a possibility.
Yeah, that could have been a tier 5er maybe at the most.
You left out Con Air. I don't know where that'd go. It's so incredibly cheesy. I'm not upset about it not being in a top 25.
I thought you'd be mad about that. I did, but
I don't know who it would replace.
I think it's a good idea with a good cast, but the action subpar. I mean, the final Vegas battle scene is lame. There's that shootout they pin down the cops.
Company. John Cusack running around in his sandals. See, it's got it. Out of all the action movies that we've listed, it may have like the overall best ensemble cast.
Oh, geez Louise, yeah. Put the bunny down.
I'm
Cusack,
John Malkovich,
Ving Rhames. When he was like fresh off Pulp Fiction. Yep.
Cage, Buscemi, Garland Green. I mean,
Nick Cage got ripped for that movie.
He got ripped. His accent's horrible. He would have been better off not going with an accent. Yeah. And his hair is disgusting.
I thought you would have been angry, so I'm glad that you didn't. I left it out because
I don't know who it would replace. I don't know where it would go.
Yeah. Any other 90s movies?
I'm kind of interested that you didn't put, I think we kind of talked about it, like Crimson Tide, Hunt for Red October.
Thriller?
I think they're probably more thrillers.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Does that hold up, or is that nostalgia?
I think it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
I think it's nostalgia.
Got it.
I've got to list it. Here, let me look at list that I made here.
When you're old school lists.
You briefly mentioned Last Boy Scout when we were earlier.
That's more about, like, that movie for me is more about the dialogue and the Shane Black.
Because that's Shane Black too. I would think if you're gonna put a Shane Black movie in, since we didn't, did he have anything to do with Lethal Weapon 4?
That's a good one, but I don't think
that was 98. If he didn't have anything to do with that,
they fought Jet Li.
Yeah.
That was epic.
I feel like I could put that in over, not necessarily Lethal Weapon 4. What did I just say? Last Boy Scout. I feel like I could put that in over Long Kiss Goodnight.
Last of the Mohicans was tough, but that's not
I don't think it's an action movie.
You know?
I don't think it's an action movie.
So overall, man, letter grade, what would you give my tiers?
Gosh.
A through F. No, overall.
I so badly want to give you like a C+ for like half-assing it, but you did a good job. Like I think it's a good solid A- grade.
Yeah, I didn't have.
It's good. It's really hard to argue with any of those. I think the biggest, and it's not necessarily a problem. My biggest thing with it is 5 per category. Like, I feel like it's almost like a Hall of Fame voting where it's not necessarily on limit. It's, if you're good enough to be in a top tier, you're good enough to be in it. Like, so, I mean, in my mind, there's probably 10 to 12 movies that could be tier 1.
I just wanted drama for this. You know what I mean? I don't want to... You show a list where there's 100 movies in tier 1, no one's going to care. But you show a list where you have 5, I think that really builds the discussion. So...
We mentioned Mask of Zorro. That's
Yeah.
such a good movie. Men in Black.
Yeah, but there's no good action
Wearing
scenes.
a Edgar suit.
Maybe Mexican Zorro could have made it in there, but I had the Martin Campbell Goldeneye, and I had Desperado, so I kind of thought that was covered.
You know what's really underrated is The Negotiator.
Thriller?
I think that's got a lot of action in it too.
Yeah.
There's a
Samuel
lot of
Jackson, dude.
shootouts.
He was great in the
Samuel
90s.
Jackson.
He had some killer 90 action movies. All right, well, so A-, man. I'm happy to hear that. So any final thoughts before we get out of
Well,
here?
I want to just throw this out there that maybe we could even do a podcast over this at some point. The greatest 5-year stretch in action movie history is 94 to 98.
94 to 8. So you got Speed, True Lies, Rock.
Let me run through these really quick. Give me 90 seconds here. Just in 94, Speed, True Lies, Clear and Present Danger, Leon, Drop Zone, Terminal Velocity, Crow, Shadow, Time Cop Specialist, On Deadly Ground. Got to throw a Seagal in. 95, Heat, Die Hard 3, Crimson Tide. Well, we'll take that out. GoldenEye, Desperado, Bad Boys, Waterworld, Sudden Death, Rumble in the Bronx, Under Siege 2. You can put in Judge Dredd, Assassins. 96, Rock, Mission Impossible, Broken Arrow, Executive Decision, Last Man Standing, Daylight, Eraser, Escape from LA, Long Kiss Goodnight, Black Mask, Glimmerman. 97, you got Air Force One.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention that.
That was in my tops.
Was it in there?
Yeah.
We got Con Air, Fifth Element. I really, really like the Jackal.
Yeah.
Jackal is really good. Face Off. I've always been a big fan of Metro. I don't know why. I've always liked Metro. Tomorrow Never Dies, Peacemaker, Money Talks, Spawn. And then 98, Enemy of the State, Mask of Zorro, Blade, Lethal Weapon 4, Ronin, The Siege, Replacement Killers. And then I've always actually liked Hard Rain.
Yeah.
Hard Rain is nowhere near any of these top 5-tier lists. But it's like those are just huge action movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, for the most, some of those are, they didn't necessarily get great reviews, but like the quality of the films, like the action elements in the films are really good.
I would say 89 and 94.
89 to 94?
Because that's when the Hong Kong era was blowing up. And then you had T2, then you had Point Break, then you still had Speed and True Lies in that.
Yep. I can see that.
And then that way I can include my Hong Kong movies.
I was almost looking at, I was more looking at quantity.
Oh, quantity? Oh,
instead of
yeah,
necessarily
you're right.
quality. I mean, the higher tier movies are probably earlier 90s, minus The Matrix.
Yeah.
I still consider like 94. That's like early mid 90s.
Yeah.
Or for True Lies.
I like it. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Tom Mad Dog Tresemer, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.